Well, we come all the way from Bonnie, Scotland, so hopefully people are going to understand us.
Oh, hey, you know what? I do. That's all that matters, as long as I can
Exactly.
understand.
Who cares about anyone else? Just the three of us, eh?
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification icon to never miss an episode of In the Design Lounge.
This is how we started. This is back to our roots, in the Design Lounge. We're back via Zoom. You know, usually we started in the pandemic. We did it via Zoom with people all over. And then, you know, post-COVID a little bit, we're still trying to, you know, go in between back and forth. We did a couple, we've done quite a few in person. But then we had the opportunity for you guys. You guys are in Nova Scotia right now. So obviously I'm in Arizona, you're in Nova Scotia. We couldn't be face to face, but this is the advantage of people getting used to Zoom. So
well, I'm Justin Ryan and this is Colin McAllister. And I guess together we're known in Canada and Britain and Australia as Colin and Justin. And essentially we're designers who are based in Toronto, Canada. But about 2 weeks ago, we decided to re-engage a new chapter in our life. And we bought a hotel in a really lovely part of Canada. It's smack dab on the side of the Atlantic. It's called the Point of View Suites. And I think essentially what we're doing is redesigning our life at a point where we're already busy and happy, but you know, a very early midlife crisis finds ourselves down here, challenged with a whole new sea of hospitality.
Oh, very early.
Very early. You guys are overachievers. You're getting it out of the way super early. Now, this is something new, right? You've never done anything like this before.
Never before. And for the last year, we've been promoting our book, Escapology, which is all about properties around the world. You know, some in Canada, some in the US, some in South Africa, some in Scotland. But it's all about properties that allow you to escape the city. And that's become something that's become very part of our wheelhouse. We've been designing cabins in rural Ontario, you know, that allow you to immerse yourself in nature, to escape the concrete jungle, and to try and live a purer, kind of quieter, simpler life. And I think what's happened is that we've been talking so much about how other people escape through COVID, through Zoom calls like this that we've had around the world, that I think the time has come for us to practice what we preach. Here we are, we're in a fishing village of 900 people in Nova Scotia, and we're having the time of our lives.
So I mean, that just can't happen though. Obviously you guys kind of set it up, but how did this thing even come? How did this come about? Obviously, I imagine this was a lot of conversations, a lot of back and forth. How do you say, okay, damn it, I'm going to do it. We're going to move, pack up, and create a hotel? Are super early midlife crisis out of the blue?
For the longest time, Colin and I have spent our lives traveling from one destination to the other, staying in hotels. And we're not critical, but we're very observational in everything that we see and experience. And we would go to hotels and say, okay, this is a lovely hotel, but, or this is a wonderful bed and breakfast location, but. We'd always find something that wasn't quite right. So we thought, if we want to deliver for ourselves a hospitality option, then maybe we have to do it ourselves. So about maybe 5-10 years ago, we started dreaming that at one point we'd actually invest in a hotel. And we looked around the world. We looked at Australia, back in Scotland, in London, but we kept being drawn to this area of the Atlantic. And it's so remote down here in Lewisburg in Nova Scotia, but it's so perfect. And it kind of reminds us in terms of the topography of what Scotland looks like. Now, we can't go back and live in Scotland because so much of our life is in Canada. Our design practices in Canada, our book has been published in Canada. So we thought this is a really good happy medium. So we continue to live the majority of our life, 7 or 8 months a year in Toronto. But for the other 5 months, we run and own this seasonal hotel.
I look at a hotel as the almost epicenter of design, right? You have everything. You have people that are interacting with it. You have a restaurant potentially. You have all these different facets of design and beauty, if you will. Was that one of the things that drew you to creating a hotel?
Absolutely, you know, and I think it follows a conversation we started when we were designing cabins in rural Ontario, you know, because second homes tend to be spaces that are actually made more, the decisions are made more from the heart and less from the head. You know, in this city, we all have to be close to work, we have to commute. So we're very, very practical when we're in the city. But if you actually are fortunate enough to have a second home and escape, then you tend to be a little bit more indulgent. And I think that then leads us to hotels, you know, and as you say, they are lifestyle epicenters, almost like catwalks of fabulousness. And your vacation.
I love that. I love that.
It's true. And your vacation should be better than your daily life, shouldn't it? You know, because it's a reward. It's, you know, you've been working really hard, you've had a difficult year, you're stressed out. So your vacation should actually give you something more. People have been trapped in their spaces for over a year. We've never had this time where you've been trapped in your little box, forensically looking at the walls and thinking, I don't get this. I don't recognize it. I'm bored. It doesn't represent me. It doesn't make me excited. So we want design to make people's hearts beat a little bit faster. We want to give them something memorable, and vacations are all about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So talk about this, your guys' personality background. I would imagine you guys, you know, doing TV and having the design and really a marriage of all types of media and forms of communication. How is that blending into the opening, into the marketing, into the exposure aspect? I mean, I'm sure you guys are like the perfect people to create a hotel.
We've always been people. You know, we really enjoy that aspect of our business, that we get to interact with everybody that's involved in any part of our business or TV or the written word. So that really appeals to me, the fact that we can communicate with our audience. And having built up a really big dialogue and engagement level with everybody, for example, on our social media channels, we have this back and forth with people that they know they're talking directly to us. Now, we work with lots of people, but every uttering on our social media channels comes directly from us. So we're packing up everything experiential from everything that we've already done in our lives and distilling that down into the finest blend of opportunity to unwind. Because let's face it, our world has spun more quickly and faster than ever before in the last 18 or so months. And people are really stressed and really focused on recovery at the moment. So we're going to help them do that.
I need to do it. I need to
Can I get an amen on that?
Exactly. You would be more than welcome.
Amen from the gay men.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? And it's actually an interesting point I've never thought of. Social media is at its core, or could potentially be like the biggest focus group ever, right? It allows you, if you are authentically sharing yourself and actually engaging, it is the greatest focus group because you get to find out, like you said, what people want, what they eat, what they're desiring, you know, where they want to travel. I mean, it really gives you everything you need to know, really need to know to create or scale a hotel or whatever type of business it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you have to learn though what to listen to and what not to listen to, you know, because you know yourself, you know, if you've got an idea for something, you have to be true to it, Brandon, and you have to see it through. And you're going to get naysayers, you know, and haters going to hate people.
Absolutely.
One thing worse than being talked about, and that's not being talked about. So that's what they say, you know. So I think it is a great way of sharing your thoughts with people. It's a great way of listening to the public and actually getting them on board with you. And, you know, and we are super fortunate in all of our messaging. We don't say anything negative. I mean, it's not like it's the nuns channel. Hi, we're the sisters of the church. But, you know, there's so much negativity out there everywhere else and so much darkness in the world. I would much rather that our messaging was light and was informative and was entertaining and took you on a bit of a journey.
Talking about your social media, the first thing I noticed was the white Mercedes. I'm like, oh, I had a thing recently for like old school cars. And I'm like, oh, that pearl Mercedes convertible looks amazing.
Do you know what, Brandon? So maybe 14 years ago, when we moved from Scotland in Britain all the way over to Canada, one of our first TV shows was called Colin and Justin's Home Heist, and it was a big high-impact reno show where we would rock up at somebody's house and turn the disastrous kind of down at heels, kind of dowdy spaces that we found into really light, energizing homes. And part of the design of that show was that we traveled from house to house in a silver Mercedes. And we fell in love with that silver Mercedes. And it was a car that was supplied to the show. I said to Colin, we should get one of them. The only change I'd make is I'd love it to be white. So we put a kind of a whole load of word out, and eventually somebody in the North American Mercedes-Benz Association, a guy called Doug Dees, called us and said, okay, there's a white Mercedes in Arizona. Are you interested? Do you know?
Best
Arizona?
place in the world. Best place in the world.
Exactly, Brandon. So we imported that white Mercedes-Benz from Arizona all the way to Toronto. So for the last 14 years, we've driven that car pretty much every day. As soon as the snow has gone off the roads, we drive it. And in 14 years, touch wood, it's never let us down. It goes like a ticket. It's so fantastic.
Oh man, it's beautiful.
And it's one of the coolest things ever.
You guys have to about your experience, all the experience designing, decorating. How would you describe your hotel's design to someone like me?
So it's got, at the moment, it's got 20 rooms, it's got a beach house, it's got 2 restaurants, it's got a laundry building, it's got 5 acres of ground, and it's all really plain. It's in really nice condition, but it's really plain. So we're going to completely revamp it. And I would say the look of this hotel is going to be a combination of farmhouse, rustic, modern, and mid-century modern. So there'll be lots and lots of things that you recognize from both of those styles. And I think they're 2 bedfellows that sit really well together. A really clean aesthetic, lots and lots of white, pops of color. We're putting Crosley vintage record players in every single room. We're doing lots of things that reference that mid-century modern period. Whimsical and fun. We don't want a hotel that overpowers our guests. We want a hotel that really nurtures them and makes them feel really relaxed from the moment that they get there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there'll be a little bit of Scotland in there as well, you know, because the Scots are very important in Cape Breton. So we're kind of calling it a Celtic Atlantic, I think is the look we're going for.
You said Celtic Atlantic?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
We've been researching these incredible properties throughout the world with our book Escapology. And they all have this wonderful message that is about putting the city behind you. It's about connecting with nature. And one of the things that drew us to this hotel was that the rooms all have incredible ocean views. So that's super important. At the moment, you know, sometimes design and sometimes even a lack of design can get in the way. So you walk into these rooms and they're not bad. They're just a little bit dull. And so you're too busy looking and thinking, okay, well, that's a little bit dated, when actually your focus should be towards the window, because the eye lines are incredible. The ocean is there. You know, you look into infinity and the next stop is northern France. So we have to capture some of that, you know, some of the light, some of the colors that are happening out there and complement what you're looking at.
Escapology for us, when we initially started to put it together, it was concepted and planned as a book of our own work. But as we started to research everything, we decided that rather than just feature our style, we should feature escapes, cottages and cabins from all parts of the world. So we have the most incredible minimalist metal box sitting in a forest in Sweden, featured as one of the homes. We have an amazing, what looks like an airship, a vintage airship, which is in Scotland. We have homes in Mexico, in South Africa, all across the world, all take a part and take a chapter of our book. And it was a great way to look at that and think, okay, I love that bedroom. That would work really well in the hotel. Or that living room textile would be such a great component.
Take little vignettes from all these design cues.
100%.
This, that. And if I can blend these together somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it is, as you say right there, it's almost one of those things that isn't quite tangible, because you arrive in some spaces and they just have a feeling and they create an emotional response, and you get this wonderful sense of completion from everything you're looking at. And it's like fashion, you know, as you well know. There are clothes that keep you warm and there are clothes that make you hot. And, you know, you put on an outfit and you know what it suggests. You know that there's a message in there and you want to be that person. Exactly. And I think interior design is finally catching up with that. You know, I think post-COVID, people are looking to their spaces and saying, actually, I don't recognize this space. I don't know anything that's mine, anything that's personal. And they want to get that sense of, oh, who am I at home? What do we want from this space? You know, and what can it deliver?
So then I would imagine in this had to be a different refuge of doing it on your own, right? Because there's also the aspect, and I mean this in the best way, of being able to design selfishly, right? You're doing it from a service position, right? You're offering this escape, you're offering this amazing place for people to come to, but now you guys are able to use your skill set and use your taste and use the information that you've gathered over these years and listening to create this space, but there's no one else you got to ask about. You can do it in your own idea.
Yeah, which is really fantastic, isn't it? It's a little bit self-indulgent, but I think at the same time, what we believe about design, and this is the thing we're going to have to balance, is because we are doing this. It's kind of like, are we doing it for a client or are we doing it for 1,000 clients? You know, so we have to kind of balance not overdoing it, and and I think that's the thing with interior design. Sometimes people buy, they contact an interior design and they just buy their look. They go, okay, I really like that, and they transplant someone else's life into theirs, and there's no connection, there's nothing that's personal there, and it's just wrong, and then it might look beautiful, but it feels uncomfortable. It's like wearing someone else's underpants.
And the thing is, as good as it looks, you can tell. When it's not them.
Exactly. So we're going to balance that lovely feeling, about being kind of like listening to people, but also we're going to treat every single room like someone's a guest in our home. And we're going to treat every single room like it's just, we have one guest room in our space. What do we want for our guests? How do we want them to feel? And we've designed 1 million guest rooms, and it is the golden rule. If you're designing a guest room, always spend the night in it. Put yourself in a guest's shoes.
1,000%, 1,000%. I love that. So I have some rapid fire questions for you guys. What design trend, and people are going to want to know that because you guys are designers, did you guys try during the pandemic?
Extreme minimalism. I went through every single cupboard, our closets, every drawer, and I decided to have a purge. I had a purge, and I lost things that were broken, things we had duplicates of, things I just didn't like anymore, things that I'd outgrown. And suddenly it was like doing a diet, where you just felt suddenly your pants were a bit roomier, everything was good, everything was fresh and fabulous. And it was a nice feeling.
Absolutely, that refresh, that restart. Do either of you guys have a guilty pleasure?
I'm really greedy. I love food and I love alcohol. I never go crazy and go overboard, but our cupboards are always stocked with cheers, sir. Is that an Aperol Spritz?
Yes.
Is it? I love an Aperol Spritz. It's a very summery.
So Aperol Spritz is like my favorite summer cocktail without question.
It's a really good drink. Well, if you like Aperol, Brandon, have you drunk a paper plane?
No.
Oh, I am about to change your life forever. Okay, so you want equal parts of Aperol Spritz, lemon juice, Amaro Nonino, and bourbon. Now, Amaro Nonino, you may know, is a kind of a digestive.
No, it sounds amazing.
It's gorgeous. It's so refreshing. Ice cold, served in a coupe glass or a Marie Antoinette. And a Marie Antoinette coupe glass is named after Marie Antoinette because it was allegedly modeled on her boob.
Yeah. So
we're thinking, thank goodness it wasn't modeled on Pamela Anderson's boob. Otherwise, we'd all be drunk.
It'd be what? Just one of them. It'd be to the win.
One of you know.
What's something that people would not know about you guys?
What wouldn't they know? We were contestants in MasterChef in the UK.
Okay.
And we also we won a singing competition on ITV1 in Britain.
What can't you guys do?
Pretty much everything, and what we can't do, we'll learn to do. What wouldn't people know about me? I'm bilingual. I speak fluent French.
You're 87 years old.
It's incredible, with all the right amount of Nivea and softening agents on the lens. Mais depuis 30 ans, j'ai eu une correspondance avec un mec qui habite à Bordeaux. Et à cause de ça, je peux parler la langue. Et je sais que j'ai fait beaucoup de fautes avec les tons, mais c'est pas un problème.
Ah oui, c'est bon.
So yes, my tongue is mighty and often. You did. It's a sexy language. Anything you can see, you can ask for a loaf of bread in French, and it sounds so sexy. Je voudrais du pain, s'il vous plaît.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Oh, your clothes fall off.
I need to learn second language now. The last one. So, how do you guys take your coffee or tea?
Black.
I like
no
black.
Sugar.
Yeah, you like unadulterated. I like just a tiny bit of sugar and a splash of cream.
And that probably says a lot about our attitudes to everything. I like things to not be complicated. I like to enjoy the individual flavor of things. So I hate over-seasoned foods. I hate salt. I hate salt in everything. I want to taste the actual components of what I'm eating. So I am that person. I have to have just everything really simple and pared back.
So you guys, so you can sing, you can design, you can cook, you can go on TV. So I know this is the first hotel. I guess the last thing I want to know is what is next?
If it goes well, in a couple of years, we might look at buying a second hotel, because I think it's always nice to have one thing, but if you can have more, I want a collection of hotels. I want to be like Hilton, but obviously much, much cooler.
Like Paris Hilton?
Like, not Paris Hilton, more like a travel lodge. You know, we're going to be a really, really elegant, very visitable, cool hotel and restaurant complex. And if it works, we'll take that brand and we'll wrap it around another hotel. My dad was American, so I'd love to have something in America at some point. So maybe we'll come out your way and you can be our focus
I was going to say, Arizona.
In America.
Arizona would be a great place.
We should drive our car back to Arizona to let the car experience what it left behind and that heat for the cold that we made it endure in Canada.
You know, that it will probably give you another 14 years.
We really look after it, and it really makes people smile. Now, talking of smiling, Brandon, you have got one of the most engaging smiles ever. You absolutely radiate warmth, and it's that smile. It's incredible. It's immediately disarming.
I appreciate it. I thank you. That's one of the biggest compliments.
Yeah, and the smile is it's enormous. It's the first thing you notice. It draws you right in, and it makes you feel immediate. I'm sure people that meet you for the first time, Brandon, feel completely comfortable because the smile is such a gift. I don't have that. Colin's got that big smile as well. I've got resting bitch face, and I can't help it. People look at me and say, "What's wrong, Justin?" And I'm like, "I'm really happy, but I wasn't gifted with that size of smile." Yeah, believe me.
Exactly.